Hey everybody, One of Weezem here. It is really late, Sunday, March 23rd, 2014. This is an important day in terms of Skylanders for the simple fact we have a brand new character available. This is an in-game variant. The one in question, if you follow the blog, if you keep up with me on Twitter or social networking, you should have been able to pick yours up today as well because I posted some reminders for you. Character in question is Nitro Freeze Blade. I had to go pretty late in the day, had a lot of stuff going on this weekend, and particularly today. From what I understand, Philip, touched base with him, he kind of went bright and early this morning on the East Coast. He said they had a box of 12 that matches up with the stock that my local store had. They put out quite a few from what I understand, completely sold out when I went in there. I was pretty worried about it. Again, Granite Crusher, which you can see right here, I got the last two of those on launch day. Never again did my store have them. Jade Flashwing was pretty tough to track down. Nitro Magnacharge, I've actually seen him a couple more times, but I'm kind of inclined to say that's because it's been in the double pack formation and maybe people were deterred from buying them up or it would cost more. He should have a single pack release at some point in time. He, of course, is right there to the right of Freeze Blade. But this is, just like Nitro Magnacharge, a Target exclusive. This is not a sticker that's printed on the packaging, just like we saw in Giants. Essentially, Freeze Blade, we picked him up, we got him unboxed. I have fully upgraded this guy. Very, very impressive. I took him down Ice Sculptor, which is actually his tertiary attack, and then I took him down Trail Freezer for the lower end. That combination has proven to be very, very nice. I'll take Nitro down the other paths. Again, that's what's nice when you actually have two characters that are different. He appears as Freeze Blade, he appears as Nitro Freeze Blade. What that allows me to do is obviously not double up on two Freeze Blades or something along those lines. You get to take both paths. I get to showcase those to you. Then you can make, your decisions based on what you see there. Or if you've already upgraded and you're curious, it's killing you wondering what that other path is like, you can check that. Speaking of that, this is a perfect time to plug the blog poll. I want to know what you want to see in terms of the Swap Force upgrades. I'm going to continue doing this. This guy and Trap Shadow, ironically, are my guinea pigs. Only two others I've recorded upgrades on, Free Ranger and Boom Jet. Neither of those are 100% just yet. But ultimately, there's a ton of ways I can do this. It can be intricately detailed all the way through. I can come in, I could fully upgrade Freeze Blade. And then the only thing that would be different for Nitro Freeze Blade, top end, we would take him down, what was it called? Blizzard Blade, I believe. Something that's basically the primary attack on the top end. And then on the bottom end, I'd take him down, I think, Ice Skater. It's kind of the one that looks like it's like a pushback type thing. So I could showcase him that way. Or what I actually did with Trap Shadow, and I actually really liked the way it worked out. Come in, record the base upgrades in video 1 for the top and the bottom. Video 2 is top path 1. Video 3 is bottom path 1. Video 4 top path 2. Video 5 bottom path 2. Again, you can kind of alternate those top and bottom paths. Ultimately, it's 5 videos, fairly short. Not necessarily with Trap Shadow, because I was going over all of this with you. Ultimately, I want to make these videos where you get the most bang for the buck out of them. It's the most efficient use of your time. If that turns out to be that you want to see me take Nitro Freeze Blade box stock all the way from nothing to everything, I can do that. If you think, hey, that deal you mentioned, option number 2 sounds good, where I showcase, the top and the bottom paths. Or if you think, wait, option C or option 3 is actually better, where you do 5 separate videos, that save me time. I can just see what I want. It's ultimately up to you. Again, I did do Trap Shadow, at least my second Trap Shadow, and the first one combined to do the option C. Actually, I kind of liked that one. Again, it'll be the shortest videos, there will be more videos, but it'll just be easier for you to find in searches and whatnot. So, this Freeze Blade, I think I'm going to come in and do it to kind of mimic option 2. However, since it's special, I could do option A. I don't know, but check it out on the blog. There's a poll there in the comments on this one. Let me know which of those appeals to you. Again, my ultimate goal, I want you to enjoy the videos. I want them to be helpful. And the issue is there's just a crud ton of different ways to do this, and I want to do it the best I can to help you out as much as possible. That said, back to the action here. It is an in-game variant. That said, he will count towards your collection. Well, registers another character, etc. It's basically everything you expect from Freeze Blade. He's just going to appear a little differently in the game. You can probably see that a little bit better once we actually get him out of the packaging. But the featured characters, we've got Freeze Blade here, Freeze Stone. That's of course Freeze Blade and Doomstone. Freeze Shadow, Freeze Blade and Trap Shadow, Freeze Bomb, Freeze Blade and Stink Bomb, and then again we're back to Freeze Blade. Now, I can't remember if I finished it, but Philip on the East Coast, his Target had a box of 12. Mine apparently did too. I guess they had 9 of them out throughout the day. When I came in, the guy said, "Oh, I thought you'd be in here for this," and he said, "I have some in the back." What he came out with was 3. I'm assuming those would be the last ones, given that, you know, they probably would have stocked 3 initially, probably more than that. I'd think half the case. Bottom line, it pays to ask. If you go into Target and you don't see anything, just go ahead and ask somebody. They probably, given that it is a store exclusive and they've had these for a long time and they've been told not to shelve them, whoever's in electronics should know, or somebody with them or a manager should be able to be like, "Oh, that's that thing that was, you know, out yesterday, Sunday, whatever." And maybe they'll have one in the back for you, so don't get too discouraged. Really no clue how they're going to restock this guy. It could be a Granite Crusher scenario. It could become shelf fodder. It might be a deal where there's this initial run, maybe something, you know, a week or 2 down the line, then nothing for forever. It could be regular restocks. Really don't know, so I'm not much help there. But again, if you get to Target and you do not see this guy, ask someone. Retail price on this guy is $14.99. Don't pay more. If you miss him at Target, you're bummed about it, don't go in on Tuesday afternoon and purchase this guy from a scalper on eBay or Amazon for $30. Just don't do that. You're kicking yourself. You're hurting yourself more than anyone. But as soon as people quit paying the prices that scalpers want, they won't buy these anymore because they won't have a market for them. Obviously, if they're picking these up at Target and they're having to sell them at retail or lower, or eat freight, something along those lines, it doesn't become as lucrative of an option to throw away what could be your life on taking advantage of people that make really bad economic decisions. Again, if I would have missed out on this guy at $14.99 tonight at my local Target, guarantee you I would not be online paying a penny more than $14.99 ever. If it got down to a point and it turned out like Granite Crusher and I missed them at my local store, never got to another Target, never found one listed on Target.com, you know, if somebody wasn't reselling them basically for face value, I simply wouldn't have this guy in my collection. So that's the advice I give you. If you love Freeze Blade and you're really looking forward to it, pick up another one. You know, you can custom paint it yourself. In all honesty, I don't know many people that are huge fans of the Nitro treatment. We'll get to that here shortly. If anything that you take from this unboxing, don't pay more than $15 for this ever. Just do not do it. If you don't take my advice there, you probably need to step back and reevaluate things in your life. Might not trust me on upgrade paths, release dates, things of that nature. But I'm trying to save you money, and if you can't handle that, this is probably the wrong field for you. So, you know, like I said, that $30 would buy you 2 regular Freeze Blades, so keep that in mind. That said, we want to cover the front here. He is, of course, a water element Skylander. He is a swap force, meaning he splits in 2 at the seams and when I open them up, which is my favorite thing about unboxing these. Nitro Freeze Blade, as seen on the label. His slogan, keeping it cool. His swap zone power is actually speed. Again, that's why I've got Magna Charge and Nitro Magna Charge here. Coming around to the back side, that's what he looks like in the game. That actually looks better than the figure, in my opinion. We'll kind of have to see how that translates to real life, or at least here in my little fortress here. Featured characters: Trap Shadow, Freeze Blade, Doomstone, and Stink Bomb. Since he is a brand new Skylander in Swap Force, he is not backwards compatible. It'll work just fine in Swap Force, 3DS, your iOS, Android applications, things of that nature. Coming around, I guess we need to open this guy up and cut to the chase. Again, my apologies on that tidbit on the upgrades, but quite frankly, that was a really good time for me to plug that again. And once more, ultimately, I just want to make the videos as best I can to help you out. And if you don't take anything from that, just please don't pay more than you need to for this guy. So go ahead and open this up. Came apart fairly easily. I know a lot of you like to get the guys out, take a look at them, mess around with them, upgrade them, take some pictures with the other characters, and put them back in the packaging for display purposes. You could easily fold that bottom back in and you know, tape it up, glue it, whatever you need to do, and you could easily accomplish that. So that said, the little name tag is taped on this one, so if you want to do that, whenever you take him out, my advice, go ahead and cut that scotch tape right there. That way you won't bend it up or anything. I'm not too concerned about that, but I will do that. Again, absolutely my favorite part of unboxing Skylanders ever is just simply the fact that these Swap Force characters split in two when you do that. Once more, it is a little awkward with some of these characters. I like to come in from the backside. You can kind of see my traffic finger, if you will. Pop them right out. That's much better than grabbing the chakram. I still don't know how to pronounce that. Yanking it out, you run the risk of just doing damage that way. So keep that in mind. We'll go ahead at the bottom here. We've got the stat card and the sticker sheet. We'll slide those out. And now we want to get the base out. Again, I like to come in from the bottom. Lift up. I had to apply a little bit of pressure there more than I remember, but everything came out home free as that falls off the pool table. Here's our bottom end of Nitro Freeze Blade, and here is the top end. So we're going to go ahead and work the magic there. Not a fan of gold. I say that all the time. I had somebody comment back that I say I'm not a fan of gold, and then I say the characters actually don't look too bad. You know, it is what it is. Some of them actually pull it off decently, but again, when I compare Nitro Freeze Blade's appearance with I'm not a fan of purple either. That's a really bad example, but I would prefer aesthetically the standard look. That's just me. Same with Magna Charge. That's a more glaring example. That said, it's not too terribly bad. I guess I had the magnets off right there, but it actually works better that way, to kind of showcase it to you. Sort of mimics the back side. Obviously, Nitro Magna Charge, in-game variant, is going to appear like this with the gold. That is actually purple accents. There's kind of the checkered flag. Rough texture there. I didn't notice that on the first one. I assume that's the case. But the blades are actually still the clear. There's your speed logo there on the base. If you did not know, the bottom end, you've got the water element logo. The eyes still surrounded in purple. He's a little bit where on this figure, it's kind of like a dark purple highlighted with gold accents, and of course kind of like a really light purple lavender. Again, that's not a color combo I spend a lot of time with. I can usually rattle off some impressive colors for you. It's just purple's not up my alley. You can pretty much see, I mean, the skin is just a little bit lighter. It's almost got a shimmer to it. It's almost like an Arctic silver. I guess that actually sounds pretty good. But again, personally, I just like the look and feel of the standard Freeze Blade a little bit better. You know, it is what it is there. But let's go ahead here. Take a look at the stat card. Again, what we get in addition to the figure is the stat card, and then behind that, actually, we have the sticker sheet. Note that the sticker sheet is accurate. It is for Nitro Freeze Blade. That'll help you. I know a lot of you use this for your storage solutions, power A cases, things like that. Being a swapper, this is actually a two-piece sticker. It would come apart, so if you, for whatever reason, we'll say your favorite combination ever is going to be Nitro Freeze Bomb You could actually orient the stickers in such a manner. That said, we'll set that down. There's a web code and a QR code down below. Power or strength, 140 out of 200. Defense or armor, 75 of 200. Speed or agility, 200 out of 200. Again, what else would you expect from a Nitro character who swap zone powers is speed-based? And luck, 85 of 200. Let's see if we can't add all that up. 85 and 75, that's going to be 160. 160 and 140 will be 300. 300 and 200 is going to be 500. These cards don't necessarily correlate to anything in the game, but they are included, so I cover them. 500 out of 800, that is pretty impressive. Now, a little eye candy for you. I'll kind of twirl this guy around while I cover his background story. His in-game stats, though, should vary slightly from standard Freeze Blade. We'd be working with these base, obviously, just unboxed him. He's not been on the portal. Max health 280, speed 50, armor 6, critical hit 8, elemental power 25. Speed is what we're going to want to watch. As you should know with me, speed and armor are the two big ones. The way I play the game, speed plays a big role, and then when I do actually get in on the action, the armor is very much appreciated. Slogan for Nitro Freeze Blade, once again, keeping it cool. When he was young, Freeze Blade's family moved from the frozen wastelands of Vesh to the Great Lava Lakes. As it turned out, this was a very difficult adjustment for Freeze Blade. No kidding. Not only was he the sole one of his kind, it was also incredibly hot and there was no ice to skate on whatsoever. But over the years, he learned to fit in with the other fire-like creatures and even discovered he had a magical ability to ice skate on any surface, even bubbling lava. I'm going to have to actually try that out now that I think about it again. One day, while out setting a new frozen lava speed record, he came across Blast Zone, who had been ambushed by some nasty spellpunks. After Freeze Blade stepped in to defend him, Blast Zone was so impressed by his skill in battle that he was introduced to Master Eon, who of course invited him to join the Skylanders. So, very cool background story there. Again, if nothing else, for the simple fact Blast Zone is involved. Why wasn't it a Rupture? If you recall from the opening to Swap Force, we actually had the cutscene. This was long ago when the Swap Zone guys were around. You know, Cloud Break erupted, the magic comes out, yada yada. So, ties in very well by actually using the other character there. So, interesting story nonetheless. Again, it's probably a love it or hate it on the uniform. It's actually not that bad. I know whoever said that I say I hate the gold color and then like the characters, that's probably like, see, I told you. But I'm not saying this is what I would have done personally. I think black and white would have actually been pretty cool, but that's just me. I don't know. I mean, just gold has never been something I've really been into. Probably, I mean, actually, if I had gold, I'd be happy. But just in terms of the color, no, it does nothing for me. So, that said, he actually, if you discount the gold, which it isn't too terribly bad here, the way they redid the skin on this character is actually pretty nice. I'm not sure. I don't know, I'm trying to visualize Freeze Blade as is here with the lighter skin. I still think this would probably look good, but once again, like I said with this guy, my dream color would kind of be like a light blue, sort of like the Washbuckler type effect, a little icier blue if you know what I mean there. But side by side here, these guys, because of the darker color on standard Freeze Blade, that's kind of why you see that discrepancy there. This is kind of more like a sapphire color, this is kind of more like a diamond, I guess. Again, if that makes sense to anybody. Biggest perk here, and why in the world would you have both of these guys? It's again simple. If you are the type of person, obviously if you're a collector, you want to do that. I know some of you, since there is an in-game variant, you just have no interest in Freeze Blade, you just want the special one. Others of you have got to have them all sealed up and everything. Some of you, like me, your big deal is you want to take and check out both paths. There's a good chance you're going to like, you know, at least 3 of the 4. 2 top, 1 on the bottom, etc. And what this allows you to do is you can actually take one of the 2 top and bottom paths with Freeze Blade and then take the other with Nitro. Then if you kind of want to mix and match and you think, hey, I want Nitro to have the paths I like best, reset them, go about it that way, whatever you need to do. But it's just ultimately better for people like myself, instead of buying another Freeze Blade that's exactly the same as this guy, when I can come in and get an in-game variant. It just makes it that much easier on the wall. It's the same amount of money. It's just one of those deals. You've got two different things instead of two of the exact same. So keep that in mind. Again, if you don't take anything else from this video, please do not pay more than retail. That's the biggest thing I can stress for you. Being from the water element, he is of course joined by Washbuckler. That is the other standard water element swapper. Washbuckler, fittingly enough, has an in-game variant, that of course being Dark Washbuckler, which you can see here. So these are kind of like the alter egos of the water element, if you will. Nitro Freeze Blade, of course, Dark Washbuckler. Now, he is water element, but his swap zone power is speed. Our other swap's force speed character is Magna Charge. Again, very cool character. But just like with the speed character Freeze Blade, Target had the in-store exclusive Nitro Freeze Blade, which you can see these two guys here side by side. Again, I'm not a fan of gold. It doesn't actually look horrible on either one. When I say that, that does not mean I like it. It does not mean that I wouldn't have done the colors differently. Again, when I think of Nitro, I think of nitromethane. I think of, you know, drag racing, and I think of checkered flags subsequently. So again, that's kind of where my black and white concept comes from. Gold, obviously that'd be trophy color, things of that nature. I have to say though, now that I have these guys, the gold on Nitro Magna Charge actually looks to be significantly brighter than it does on Freeze Blade. I'm not sure how well you can see that. I think you can see it pretty well there. I mean, they're both clearly gold, but you can just kind of see the gold is a little bit brighter, in my opinion, on Nitro Magna Charge. So that's an interesting note. For those of you that care, I've seen some stink bombs in the stores here lately, Toys R Us and Target tonight. I swear the guy is a darker green. I mentioned this was Stump Smash way back in the day. People said I was crazy, and then people said, wow, you were right. Same thing, Hothead with Giants last year. If you got him like when he first came out, kind of a dull red, and then if you picked him up later on, and what you see on the shelves now, he's one of the few Giants you can find easily. He and Ningini usually. Much brighter red on him. So keep that in mind on Stink Bomb. Your next question is probably like, hey, speaking of water elements, do you have Punk Shock? The answer is no. Walmart, not a fan of the store, but I go there to try to get the special Skylanders. Of course, Enchanted Light Core Star Strike is out. None of my local stores seem to have her. I'm sure they probably do, a few of the bigger ones, but they don't have her out anywhere. And yes, I check everywhere. Electronics, the toy section, and the Easter area, and there's absolutely nothing. Of course, the big draw for me would be Punk Shock. She'd be like the last Newlander I'd need. And that's, of course, the core size characters. I haven't forgotten Doomstone. But as soon as I find those guys, rest assured I'll probably, you know, tweet an update, have a video that night for you. So I am working on that. But again, it is Walmart. There's a reason I don't like that store. Here locally, there's absolutely nothing. It's kind of odd because it's on the East Coast and the West Coast, so I don't know what's going on. I don't run the store. And quite honestly, outside of going there for special characters or things they get first, I really have no use for the place. So I will leave it at that, though. Luckily, even though Target kind of messes some stuff up from time to time, Nitro Freeze Blade is exclusive to Target. That's the only place you can get them. Retail is $14.99. Once again, for about the 20th time in this video, don't pay more than that. You're screwing yourself over the worst, and then you're screwing everyone else that's into this just as bad, because then people are going to continue to raid the shelves, buy out all the stock, and then hawk them online. So, again, if I would have missed out on this guy, I guarantee you I'd have been fine with that. I've said it before, I'll say it again. That's just like Flocked Stump Smash. I literally never found the Frito-Lay bags that promoted him. I'm not about to go online and pay a penny more than $9.99 for the guy. And as you can see, or should know if you've watched anything I do, I'm pretty big into Skylanders. So I stand by what I believe in, and that's why I kind of try and suggest you do the same. Once more, not worth it, in my opinion, to spend $30 to get the in-game variant when that would get you 2 standard Freeze Blades. So keep that in mind. Again, you can also repaint one, however you want to, and you would still come out better than feeding the Scalper Frenzy. So that said, he really doesn't look horrible. I think the lighter skin helps out a lot. The gold to me does seem to be, you know, not as bright as it is with Nitro Magna Charge. But nonetheless, he is out. He's another in-game variant. I'll get to take him down. What was it? Blizzard Blade and Ice Skater, I believe, which I'm excited about seeing how those go. Stay tuned for that. Again, that blog poll that I spent about 3 minutes on in the intro to this video. Check it out. Leave a comment here, whatever. Right now, I'm kind of leaning toward us option C, which is like the 5 videos, oddly enough. I just think that would work better for everyone. You could just come in and see the path. I will recap it, you know, like if I just do the 2 upgrades in the Soul Gem. I will come back in and kind of say, hey, here's what we had already, yada yada. But it'll ultimately, I think, save everyone time. So, nonetheless, let me know what you would prefer. I'll do my best to make it happen. But this is Nitro Freeze Blade. He released today, Sunday, March 23rd, here in the U.S. All I'm aware of in Europe, I think he's exclusive to Amazon. Australia, New Zealand, I don't know. I think it might be Tesco. Don't hold me to that. I hadn't really been looking, but it seems like that's your equivalent to Target, or I think someone's told me that. Again, could totally be wrong there. I live in Texas, so I kind of deal in the United States. But that said, he is available. Again, $14.99. Don't pay more than that. It is absolutely not worth your time or your money to do that. But that said, I'm excited to get him on the portal. See what he actually looks like in the game. Sometimes the figures vary in what my perception is here on the pool table versus on the screen. So excited to see how that goes. But that's about it. I've rambled on about all I can here. On the blog, I'll have pictures of Nitro Freeze Blade in the packaging, out of the packaging, with all these other characters here. So definitely check that out. They are exclusive to the blog, which is oneofwisdom.com. You can take that link at the very top of the video description. That will also have all the information you need. I'll have a stat comparison between his card and that card. I'll do the in-game stat comparison for you. Everything, literally, you would ever want to know will be in that blog post on Nitro Freeze Blade. Speaking of that, you can follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, circle me on Google+, whichever you prefer. And, as Freeze Blade would say, let's just keep on keeping it cool.